Oh, minor technical difficulty. Welcome everyone to the UEFA Champions League group stage draw. First video of the new season. We've been away and probably quite busy with our own personal lives, but delighted to bring you today's one of my favourite events of the season because it's quite nerve-wracking. We don't know who we'll play against. Last season, we all asked for something good and we got it, and the less we think about it, the better. But here we are. Tonight is a huge night for not only our club, but for 31 other sides who will find out their fates in the group stage of the UEFA Champions League this season. It's really exciting and optimism is high. Obviously, the first two games in the Premier League have been, different in performances. We've had the highs of Leeds and I wouldn't say I'd say a bit of a not a low, but a disappointing performance against New Southampton. So we've got plenty to chew on. But we also found out last night who our cup opponents are, which are West Ham. I don't know. We've got to hope that we do well in that competition. And with all these desperations to win a trophy, pretty much depending on how his season goes, we hope that this will go to plan today so that the fixture list isn't all that more stressful. Obviously, it's a huge night, as I mentioned, for other clubs. Not only us, we would like to have as stress-free a draw as possible, but that's not guaranteed, of course. United are in a position where things could go the way they did last season, where we're thrown into the mire with two hard, very difficult sides against one side who are underdogs, for example. Who knows what will happen? And I can only tell you I'm nervous. I'm very hopeful that we have a favourable draw, a draw that will give us a chance to sort of chop and change. But we also need to perform because last season, winning the first two games against Paris and Leipzig was all well and good. But to lose in Istanbul, not be able to pick up 1 point from two games, really reflecting on it, really was quite damning and showed that we have to improve in Europe on the elite front. Yes, we got to the Europa League final, but it wasn't enough in the end, and we've got the experience now. United have an European experience, I would say. Like they've done well enough to, in the last two seasons, get to semi-finals of a European competition. But this is obviously with the Champions League different gravy, and to have fallen out of this competition last year to even be in the Europa League was quite bizarre. And we as a collective, I'm sure, wouldn't want that to happen again this season, especially with the new rules regarding how you qualify for the Europa League if you fall out of the Champions League. So nobody wants extra games. We'd like a seamless group stage where play well, get the points on the board as soon as possible, and in the last two games, let's say if we do secure qualification, just rest players, throw them if you have to, but rest players, get rotation in, and hopefully the opportunity to, focus on bigger fish in the league starts to materialize. I will have a bit of a cough. Recently, I've had my vaccination, and the last week or so, I've been a bit ill. So I sound different to how I did before, and I've been like such during my commentaries. It's very, very annoying. I can't stand it, but we are set to hopefully have a really good draw, a very exciting draw. The potential to see who United play in this competition is honestly, it carries so much weight. We don't know what is about to happen. Somehow, a lot of us will feel that this really should be the year we have to impose ourselves as one of the elite eight in the competition. If we have a good enough season and perform well in the early knockout rounds, then it's a realistic possibility. We can only hope, but alas, I am only one. There is many who feel who feel different, to my opinion. Anyway, let's not gloss over that. There's a lot of news recently we kind of missed out on. We've having been away from it. So while we're waiting for the draw to take place, let's gloss over that very quickly. A couple of important bits of news. The first bit of news that's important is Saul Niguez, Ruben Neves, and Eduardo Camavinga. So let's make a little bit of a transfer talk situation. United obviously not looking like they're signing another midfielder this season, but Scott McTominay has picked up an injury during the Euros and probably played on it during pre-season and in the first 2 games, to the point where he's had to now go and get that surgery. So he's only going to be out for a month, but that month is our next game against Wolverhampton and the international period. So he shouldn't be too far away from our first Champions League game. But the other the other challenging aspect that we have here is potentially that United are risking not signing a player which obviously we need to start, who starts games, who's able to play, who plays in a deep lying position to help to protect the defense. A lot of us have obviously been calling out for a destroyer. Some of us have been calling out for a player that just, is clean when it comes to winning the ball back and progresses the play up the field quickly. It's a tough crack, really. It's a tough crack to be a part of, and you wouldn't want to put yourself under that sort of pressure so soon, especially with what we have in front of us, the amount of games coming up, which will stretch and strain this team from about early October to late November. The amount of top class games we have to play, and obviously the Champions League being involved won't go. It will be very difficult for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to say we will win every game, we're going to be performing to our highest standard every time. No, there's no easy way out of this, unfortunately. The only thing we can hope for is that we perform in every game. We go out to win, and we go out to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves from the beginning. We all hope that this year is like the year we pick every year is, but it's the year we pick up trophies. It's the year we pick up something to celebrate at the end of the season, or something to just be proud of. And I said it in my Premier League predictions video I did with Alexi that I'd just be happy with any trophy, let alone the Champions League, the Premier League, or the FA Cup. Well, no, I'm not fussed. At the end of the day, we've got to hope that this is the season for a new approach for United, an approach that gives us something to believe in, something to feel like we can achieve the impossible. And if we are going to do that, it will require some tenacious behavior from a lot of players this year. None more particular than the likes of Bruno this year. We need him to come good. We need him again, like we haven't depended on him already to come good. But also, excuse me, we also need some big performances from our new boys in Sancho and Varane. When Rashford comes back, we hope he's fully fit, raring to go, straining to give his everything. I hope it's sufficient enough, but let's hope that we get the best version of them back, and we see what happens. The draw is about to begin. It's a bit scattered. Usually we're used to a different sort of draws on these shows. Is a lot shorter than they are today. But this evening's also the UEFA's awards show. I think it is. Yeah, that's how it works. Where they award out special prizes to players who have earned their stripes this season in many ways, i.e. if they've won Euros like Jorginho has, who's apparently a surefire choice to win that competition as best player and best midfielder. There's also the choice of best attacker, best defender, best goalkeeper from the last 12 months. So the players themselves, I don't think they're in Istanbul, but should be able to determine who exactly will cut the mustard and win those awards today. So it's a little bit longer than usual. We personally don't necessarily enjoy that, but it is part and parcel of the game, and we treat it as such. Currently, they're just playing a video from last season's competition, reviewing all of the drama that followed every single team that wanted to get to the final in Porto, which was originally scheduled to be in Istanbul. After COVID-19 decided to rage through the Turkish capital. I was there last season. It's a wonderful place, a great city, and it was probably perfect for a European final once again, but ultimately proved that the way the pandemic worked, it just wouldn't allow for such a thing to happen. So we were denied that opportunity of seeing the Champions League final in Turkey. This year's final is going to be in Russia, St. Petersburg. Poetic justice, really. And we're soon to find out if the likes of the main contenders, the protagonists of this world, your Real Madrid, your Barcelonas, your Bayerns, the PSGs, who are now practically the favourites for this competition. You can't really look past them in this Champions League group stage. Can they all put their foot in and make themselves favourites? We'll have to wait and see. We can only hope for some great football this season. We can only hope for some top quality standards once more. Just seeing Barcelona's game against PSG very quickly. That game where Mbappe ripped them apart. Whether he goes to Real Madrid or not, I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm hoping that it is one of those which will more or less work itself out as the season wears on. But we've got a week of the transfer window left. Who knows what may happen? Dortmund with Haaland this season. One more year, apparently, of Erling Haaland at Dortmund. We're targeted with him. Clearly, the lure of Solskjaer and to Erling Haaland is just not going away. And if it doesn't, we benefit from it. But who knows? The news about Ronaldo to Man City, I don't know what to say about that. It's a strange story. It's a really strange story. And I would not want to be in the shoes of those who are, let's say, responsible for that move taking place right now. I don't think you want to be in that position. Nevertheless, we are about to get underway shortly. They're finishing that video, which shows us, I'm sure many are fan of Chelsea, satisfied with the outcome of that wonderful season of Champions League football. Just waiting now they have to bring out these guests that, roll the balls out and determine obviously which team is going where. It'll work like this: pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, pot 4. It's quite academic, really. Pot 1 is drawn out first, so those are the best champions from the top 8 coefficient sides or nations in the countries. Excuse me. And from then onwards, it's a matter of hoping and praying that things do go well and things are performed to the standards that they are set out for. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of anticipation from a lot of fans in these clubs. They may not wish for, their teams to be drawn against one side or another. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, they're about to award the UEFA President's Trophy, which is, I think, a special award that UEFA President Alexander Chefrin chooses particular people every year. This year is, I believe, a group of people. A lot of us will have seen those horrible pictures from Copenhagen during the European Championships. And today, Simon Kjær and as a collective, Simon Kjær, the AC Milan captain, and the medics from that, who dealt with the incident, to Christian Eriksen, and were there swiftly to, increase his survivability, and eventually, as it's proved, have done such a wonderful job. of doing are going to be given that award today as a tribute to their efforts and their fantastic reactions on that day. It shocked us all what happened, and the last thing we'd have wanted, we would have liked to have seen on a major stage, a major competition, is something like that to have happened. So, just waiting for them to make to bring the award out. They are doing it right now. But yeah, I remember that day was horrible. It wasn't a good day at all for the people there. I think there's a lot of people who take away from that day memories of, memories that they'll cherish. Obviously, Denmark went far in the tournament because they came together as a team. They came together as a unit, proved themselves worthy of sticking together and encouraging one another to, show solidarity for their efforts and for the cause. And we will never forget that. We think this is the perfect example of why people should care, why people should encourage themselves to look out for one another, and whatever happens or whatever comes of us one day, we look after one another throughout it, because whenever we see things like this, it horrifies us, but it also unites us. It gives us a chance to think about what potentially may happen to ourselves one day. Our lives will change for better or worse, but we still keep going. And yeah, it's maybe about football, but what happened that day was certainly more than just about football. It proved it proved that people can come together for the common cause to save a life. And what those medics did that day, what Anthony Taylor did as well, we can't forget him, the referee who did so well to react quickly, swiftly as possible. The entire Danish national team, can't forget the Finnish either. They played an important part in protecting, Chris Eriksen's privacy as well. Everyone that they will remember it for uniting as one, and it was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing, and now that we've come away from it, we remember nothing more than just the heroism, the unification of people who once didn't know anything about each other, who just wouldn't want to have seen a fellow teammate, a friend, or a person come within inches of losing more than just their professional playing career, their livelihood, everything they worked so hard for, all of that to be almost being taken away from them. We would never have wanted that. For what we're grateful that today the likes of Eriksen and others who sadly weren't able to survive from those fatal incidents, while they didn't deserve what happened to them, they all played a part in improving our the health of football today, the way it's looked after, the way it's players are now stringently tested for a variety of things, and varying from not just only cardiovascular issues, but also others such as players who've been actively playing have picked up things such as Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia. They've even had cancer while playing football, and these are players at the peak of their games, and high intensity athletes who you never often see athletes who retire not able to live not able to live happy lives. They all go on to live well and take care of themselves. Some let themselves go a bit, but you understand why, because you work so hard for 20 odd years as a professional, and you don't eat your favorite pizza or your cookies, but they all go on and enjoy themselves that bit better. So what we can say from that event, though, for sure, was it was an eye opener. But what the likes of Simon Kjær and all the Danish medics, the Finnish fans as well, did that day will never be forgotten. And we for sure, as football fans and more, will always appreciate it. Perhaps award the president's prizes now. Well, we can't. The draw, as I said, this is not a short show. This is an hour-long show. Normally, we're used to 20+ minute shows that take place very often. It happens very often in Nyon, Switzerland, but because it's a group stage draw, they really like to, give it a proper, give it a really proper atmosphere, a proper feel for an event like this. And because it's in Istanbul this year, because of the fact that the finals didn't take place there, they've promised that next year's Super Cup final is played there. I think, or is it the UEFA Champions League finals played there as well? And they're trying to, let's say, I make up for missing out on the opportunity of hosting the competition's climax in a wonderful city, a wonderful place in Turkey, and hopefully we get to see that very soon. Each of the medics now getting the award from the UEFA president, Alexander Chefrin, and take their place on the stage alongside the presenters and the presenters there too. It's very, very good to see. Heroic stuff. We won't wish to see anything like that ever again. And I just want to, make it clear, look after yourselves, everyone. Whatever happens between now and the future, we don't know. But what we do know is that we have the here and the now to retain, whatever life we have, and we'll encourage ourselves to, harness that to be able to stick together for a common cause. And I hope that that's what we remember that day for. That life is short, but we need to make the most of it. As I like to say, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time, and that's the most fundamental thing. Try and have fun while making the most of your time here. So I'd always sum it up like that. Having here for a good time, but not for a long time. So each of the Danish medics and colleagues are all collecting their awards and are in the process now, taking applause from the limited crowd in Istanbul. There's very few there, obviously, because COVID restrictions limit the amount of people there. Now they're talking to the medics. Here's a long time, this draw. It does, I say, it's not quick. It's it's an hour-long event, sometimes longer, but naturally this is a sort of the course of action that it takes. My laptop, by the way, is covering the part of the bottom of the screen where the graphics come up, so I can't see exactly sometimes I might be able to, but some of the teams will go in their groups, but that's not a big deal for me because essentially you need to see their face. You need to see what I'm wearing sometimes. People are quite keen to see if I'm wearing a Juve shirt one day or a Barca shirt the next, who knows. But yeah, I have it right here. It is a long wait though for them to talk to EC Specs, but we have to give them the chance to express their thoughts and their memories from that day and give them the opportunity to earn the right to be recognized for their wonderful efforts. And we hope, as I say, hope we have to remember such things like that, or see such things like that ever again. 17 minutes in. It is a long way. So while we're waiting, I'm going to show you a little thing I've done for today, which some of you may have seen from the beginning. And it's this. This is the official UEFA site. Now, I can't touch that at the bottom there. If you're looking to the bottom left, I'm not touching that. That's the actual live stream to the draw. I can't find anywhere else that does this. So I thought, something that automatically allocates each team to their group would make a lot of sense. And I thought today I'd do this. So you'll see each team's pots, I hope, because I've had to zoom out a bit so that it fits and that it doesn't get obstructed by the little screen at the bottom. But here we are. Pot 1 is, as I said, it's basically all the champions, every single team that are ranked 1st to 8th, and includes the 2 versus 6th in the coefficient for UEFA and the 2 European trophy winners that are Champions League and Europa League winners. So you have Chelsea, you have Villarreal, the 2 European Cup winners, and then you have the ranks of each team from the countries that have won their respective leagues from the top 6 UEFA coefficient teams. So Atletico Madrid, Man City, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, Lille, and Sporting Lisbon. And then pot 2 is basically the pot we're in. We have no worries this year in terms of where we are, because we can't be drawn against the sides in our pot, and maybe in a bygone era that would have happened, but thankfully we don't have to worry about that. Pot 2 is Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, 3 times winners Man United, Paris Saint-Germain, Messi, Mbappe, and all. PSG, Liverpool, who are desperate to win their 7th European Cup this season. 7th European Cup. Sevilla, 6 times Europa League winners, and have never often see them in the group stages of Champions League, but this is another one of those occasions where they've made it through their respective league position, and because they're 14th from Spain. And Borussia Dortmund, who we nabbed Jadon Sancho from, a really good side under a new manager in Marco Rose. Who knows what they can provide or can do this season in the Champions League. They got to the quarterfinals last season. Maybe should have gone a bit further, but who knows. Pot 3 is the pot with some of the tricky teams. Some of those sides you would probably worry about if they were on form, for example. So Porto, Ajax, Shakhtar Donetsk, Leipzig, and Salzburg are in this, I think. Yep. Leipzig and Salzburg, Benfica, Atalanta, and Zenit, where the final is being held. Zenit St. Petersburg. That's where we are heading to this season. So some of the sides may get the opportunity to be able to, let's say, meet up with the stadium before the occasion takes place. So who knows what may happen with that one. Pot number 4, Besiktas, Istanbul, where the event's being held, and Dynamo Kiev, Club Brugge, Young Boys, Milan, Malmo of Sweden had to qualify along with Young Boys, Wolfsburg, and a new team in the competition, Sheriff Tiraspol, who made it into this competition, beating Dinamo Zagreb 3-0 in the first leg of the Champions League playoffs, and held out a 0-0 draw in Zagreb last night. So a fantastic performance from the Moldovan side, the first ever team from Moldova to be in the UEFA Champions League, and a very exciting prospect at best as to what may happen to that team this season. They are quite excited, to say the least. They're quite excited to be in the competition. So I wouldn't want to rule out anything for them. I wouldn't at all. Sides to look out for outside of main pots. So I would say ignoring pot number 1, because we all know what we want from pot 1. I want Villarreal. But pot 3, I'd say look out for Porto and Ajax as usual. Those 2 are sides that potentially can upset the cart every once in a while. Porto did that to Juventus last season. We know enough about Leipzig after last year, so I think a lot of us would not like to be near them this season. Benfica squeezed into the Champions League themselves, beating PSV Eindhoven, who I felt would have been in this competition, having been so good in qualifying, demolishing Galatasaray as well. Benfica, Atalanta, who were fantastic in 2019-20, didn't go as far in last season's competition. As Zenit, as I mentioned, a side to worry about. I would not want to, go there very often with hope to win, because they are a side that threaten. They do well at home and can, harness a few top players that have, blessed the stage before. But obviously, it's where the finals being held. So if you're drawn against them, you get a glimpse of what you're dealing with in May 2022. They've brought out two former Chelsea players. That sounds familiar. Michael Essien and Branislav Ivanovic, who both won the Champions League. Oh, sorry, one won the Champions League. That's good news. One of them won the Champions League, one didn't. I failed to say. Nearly did with Chelsea. Did Michael Essien in 2008, obviously getting beaten by Man United, and in 2009 scored an absolute cracker against. Scored a cracker against Barcelona, albeit it didn't matter in the end because they lost on away goals. So quite a shame, unfortunately, that never happened. Some breaking news: Benjamin Mendy's been suspended on 4 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault. So Manchester City have lost another left back, which is not ideal. That is not ideal. That's bizarre, to be honest. That is bizarre. I hope that teaches a lesson for a lot of players. Obviously, we've had an alleged player at Everton. A lot of us know who it is already, but I refrain from such, realities until it's absolutely certain. But what's happening at City and Everton is beyond me. I'm not sure why why this has happened, but it is going to be very confusing. It's going to be very confusing if we see more of that kind of stuff this season. Football players are weird people in any case, but even weirder now we've seen what we're seeing. How do they do this? What better things to do in your lives? You get paid so much money to enjoy life, thrill yourselves with many things, but that you just don't want to do. You just don't want to get yourself caught up in that. Anyway, still, Ivanovic and Essien are currently taking questions about experiences in the Champions League and all that. Essien obviously left Chelsea to join Real Madrid. If he'd stayed one more season, he'd have won the competition. But yeah, there's also obviously the element of that. He's now a man. He's actually a coach at FC Nordsjælland in Denmark now. It's Essien, so he's got active coaching badges and everything, so he could easily become a manager. Borussia Ivanovic left St. Petersburg last year to join West Brom for a season. Clearly didn't work out, and is now the ambassador for the final in St. Petersburg. Obviously, Zenit is his former club. He played there for a while after leaving Chelsea, and being Serbian, he also has obviously allegiances to Red Star Belgrade. But he would hope and feel that there's a chance or the potential of a lot of things happening. Who knows who knows really? So Ivanovic and Essien have taken their spots behind the tables. And now the presenters are now talking about the awards for the European Player of the Year, something new that UEFA introduced about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember how long ago, but it was a long time ago. And now they're doing a draw for it. Sorry. I meant to say announcing it because there's 4 different categories. Yeah, they're doing this. Oh my God. Well, here we are. They're doing this again, and I'm not sure how this will work out. Half an hour gone, obviously, if you've joined us. The draw hasn't happened yet. If you can see to my right, the procedure it's very simple. Pot 1's drawn to pot 2, pot 3 to pot 4. the what teams of the same nation could draw against one another in the group phase. Excuse me, I have a cough. No teams can draw one another from the same country. They're split to obviously avoid broadcasting clashes, so you can't have 3 teams on one night or one on another night, because that would stretch. For example, us here in BT. For example, us here in the UK, we have BT Sport. They don't want to be doing 3 games with English sides in one night. That obviously depends on how well these sides do in the European competitions. But yeah, so there is that, of course. They're announcing the winners of the 2 goalkeeping awards. So Edouard Mendy won the men's goalkeeper of the award, and Panos of Barcelona winning the Panos won the women's goalkeeper award. So good on them. Good on them. They're only announcing those now, though, which is kind of inconvenient. Anyway, it should be very soon. I'd rather they do this like after the draw, so that it's a reason for people to find out afterwards who's won those awards. But alas, it is the case. But yeah, I was explaining just now the way this works. Broadcasters can't have obviously 3 teams from their own country playing in one night, because that's a stretch for them, and obviously it favours the likes of England, Germany, and Spain, who are the 3 top nations in the UEFA coefficient, because they have 4 teams in the competition. So to make it easier for them, they split them over 2 nights. So if you draw from A to D, you play on a Tuesday, and if you draw from E to H, you get drawn on a Wednesday. So the matches are then obviously scheduled accordingly. After that, after pot 1's done, pot 2 is the same. It starts to get a bit complicated after that. You have to avoid playing against certain teams or certain sides that are within your remit. And there's also a restriction on the amount of teams in one group. So if there's already 2 sides from one pot in one group already there, that team will have to go into another one, and It will keep going until all the pots are completed. If you want, instead of my waffle, the procedure literally on the same site I'm using to sort out this draw, you can see the procedure on the UEFA Champions League website. That's where you'll find it. Alas, we at the moment are still waiting for the draw to take place. There's a lot of these, these players thanking the people for voting for them or giving them the awards in question. Sandra Panos and Edouard Mendy winning the Goalkeeper of the Year awards. Finally announced that they're beginning the draw. So this screen to the right of me, this on my right hand side, is going to now start moving around a little bit, because this is where they start picking the sides who will be playing playing a part in the Champions League group phase. It's, as I said earlier, the top 8 sides in pot 1 are going to be drawn in their respective pots and in the respective groups, and then they'll be the same after they do every single award. I should be swifter with this. Messrs. Marchetti and Heschel-Schwett are now on the stage, as always, telling us through the procedure. In an ideal world, I'd play the sound so you can all hear it. I mentioned FC Sheriff earlier on. Well, they're getting a very special mention. First ever Moldovan side in the Champions League. But alas, we are here. They are here. There's a lot of hope and excitement in Tiraspol right now. I think it's a lot of fair national interest into how this competition will go. We're still waiting for Marchetti to go for his introduction speech. There's only one Russian and Ukraine, 2 Ukrainian sides. As I remember correctly, that rule is you can't have them in the same group because of political reasons. So here we are. They're doing this very special procedure reminder. If you're watching this now or following it with me, they're doing that thing again. They're telling you how this works. It's a long-winded 3-minute video, I think it is. That tells you how each competition works out. My ear is fizzing hearing them doing it. But yeah, it works like that. So there you go. There is a split, as I mentioned earlier. If you're drawn between A and D, you are drawn to play on a Tuesday night. If you are drawn between E and G, you're drawn to play on Wednesdays. And there's always, a scheduling issue for that. I mentioned obviously the Ukraine and Russia matter where they can't be joined in the same group. Excuse me. Still waiting, and the video is still playing. Very quickly, just wanted to flag this. If you are watching this for the first time on Travel Talk, we are been around for nearly a year now, and we do this because some wacky Scotsman thought it was a good idea to make a YouTube channel. So you recruited some wise heads like mine and others who are keen to obviously talk about Man United and talk about all things involved in it. So we are going to bless you with more content this season, with more community talks, more of the match reviews where possible, because at the moment I'm a professional commentator, so I can't actually do these shows very often. Half the time they are quite challenging. But more importantly, we do our best to obviously fulfill our rights as United fans to give you our opinions, to give you the way of sometimes the opportunity for you to come on, because a lot of people don't get the chance to express their feelings about the way things are going with the club, and a lot of uncertainty is riddled with Man United right now and the uncertainties that are following it. Well, yeah, please, if you do like this and more of our other content, if you follow us for a while, we appreciate it. What are we on now? I think is it 300 subs or something like that, near 300. Promise we'd do something if we got to 300, but give it a push later on. Maybe a bit of a surprise what we'll do for 300 subs. But yeah, they've now talked us through the procedure. Now they're going through all 8 teams. They really do like to make a show of this, do UEFA? As always, the pageantry of it all. Atletico Madrid certainly threat this season, Spanish champions. Talks enough about Man City. Forget Ronaldo, we'll probably have a problem here, boys and girls. That's what they are. I'll be honest with you on that one straight away. Inter without Lukaku, are they going to be the same team this season as they were last? Well, hopefully they are. They'll be a competitive side, that's for sure. FC Bayern Munich champions in 2020. This time last year, in fact, they won the competition. Lille, French champions, first time in the Champions League for over a year. 2019, they were in the competition. Sporting Lisbon, what a performance in the Portuguese leagues. Why that league's now 5th overall in European coefficient. Quite remarkable how they managed to do it, and it honestly baffles me how they managed to achieve such a thing. Right, let's have a look. See, as I said, this will update accordingly when the draws begins, which is what it's about to do. So there we go. Bit of buffering. So the first side out of the pots after a 43-minute wait is Manchester City, the English champions. Annoyingly, they have been put into Group A. Obviously, each side will be drawn to whichever. Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I was waiting for. So there's the update I was waiting for. There's Man City in pot 1, now going into Group A. And Group B will be Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone's side, who we've stressed with all summer, trying to sign 2 players from them, potentially 2. One being someone who wants to be at Old Trafford in Kieran Trippier, the other was Saul Niguez. How we're going to deal with them to take 2 of their players is beyond me, but we'll have to wait and see. Third is Sporting Club de Portugal. They are the club that Bruno Fernandes tells us we have to call them as. They're known as Sporting Lisbon to a lot of people, but I think they deserve the right of passage to be recognised as Sporting Club de Portugal. A great season they had last season. 1 defeat in their league campaign. And talents like Pedro Gonçalves and I believe there's Nuno. I think there's a Nuno left back. You're going to keep an eye on this season. Group D will have Inter Milan minus Romelu Lukaku. He's a big miss for them. But they brought in Xhaka, Hakan Çalhanoğlu's in that side as well. Also, first time both Milans have been in the Champions League for a while. I think Milan's last appearance was 2013. So it's 8 years without it. Group D will have Group E will have Bayern Munich. Oliver Kahn's certainly aged a bit since the last time I saw him as a goalkeeper. But 6-time winners themselves, and they are one of the best teams in Europe, in the world, I dare say, right now. Branislav Ivanovic looking so robotic, slowly opening the ball for the next team, and that's the Europa League winners and the team I want us to draw, Villarreal, and they are the Europa League winners. They beat us in Gdansk in 2021. A bit of a humiliating performance, as I remember. Moreno scored the first, but equalised with Cavani. They put up a great performance there and won the final on penalties thanks to how you say Geronimo Rulli's penalty save from David De Gea. So that's them in Group F. I want us to be in Group F, but nothing's guaranteed. Group G is going to have the French champions. It'll be the 20th anniversary since their first Champions League appearance, and they're back in it. In 2001, they were ironically drawn with Man United, and Oli Solskjaer scored a fantastic goal in Lille that night. And last but not least are the holders of the competition, and somewhat they're proud of it. Chelsea going to Group H, so Wednesday nights are their nights for them. So there we go. Each of the pot 1 sides have now been allocated a spot, as you can see on the screens. They're now going to give the Defenders of the Year awards out. My brother's my special guest today. I'm waiting for him to hurry up so he can actually contribute. He's not going to appear on camera because the guy doesn't often do well on camera, but you'll probably hear him if he speaks loud enough in the back. But we've had 8 teams so far. All of them have been drawn. Nothing obviously of note yet, but from those 8, who would you say are the side that most threatens to win this competition this season?
Well, probably been appearing on the camera.
He's a busybody, that's why.
Busybody indeed.
There he is.
Just forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, because I do sound a little bit hoarse as a such.
So do I.
A lot worse than you. Well, the obvious contenders would be Paris Saint-Germain as a such after what has been quite a lot of very good business without putting too much into the names. So like the Gigi Donnarumma, Gigi Van Alden, Achraf Hakimi, another person that's left into Milan in the summer. Obviously, Messi's probably been the one that's overshadowed everybody in world football. So they're obvious contenders to be favourites in this competition as such. Obviously, you cannot ever rule out Real Madrid, despite the fact there's been, again, managerial change this summer with Carlo Ancelotti back at the club. I think it's his third spell?
Second spell.
At the club. So, can't ever rule them out as such. In terms of British contingency, I think it would be a difficult year again for English clubs. Obviously, Manchester City are probably our best hope in a neutral's point of view. But again, as they say in life as such, we will have to wait and see who goes into which draw as such. Who will get the toughest draws? Who will get the easiest?
Well, we are about to draw pot 2. At the moment, the pot 1 had been done. So Man City are in Group A, Atletico Group B, Sporting Club de Portugal in Group C, Inter Milan in Group D, F is Bayern Munich, Villarreal, where I want us to go, is in Group F, Group G is Lille, and Chelsea have been put in Group H. So those sides are, that sounds like an interesting start so far. We'll hopefully see more.
There's a lot of things that do go on in a draw as such, especially when it's a European competition. So, hence why there's a lot of I don't know what else to put in this, but there's a lot of things that do go across our screens, especially when you're previewing the teams. Obviously, we're having a bit of Juventus, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. Obviously, again, the situation with Juventus having Max Allegri replacing Andrea Pirlo, despite barely finishing on the final day of the Serie A season in the Champions League places, with Napoli also battling out with them on the final day, which was quite intriguing for any Serie A supporter and keen watcher during the course of the last 12 months that last season. So Juventus are having to rebuild again. Obviously, again, this is Max Allegri's second spell at the club at a time where he was very, very dominant as such. But anyway, we're getting in towards hopefully pot 2.
This is the exciting bit, yeah.
Part of the draw.
This is the important bit, in my opinion, because we have now got the 8 sides who are either second best or have a high enough points coefficient to be in this pot. This is a nervous time now. Ivanovic has been robotic with this approach, as he seems to have been as a defender. And we're about to find out where each team is now going to go in the Champions League draw. So first of all, out of pot 2 is Borussia Dortmund. Now, they're able to be drawn on Tuesday nights and can only go into groups A to D. So they get a choice of being drawn against City, Atletico, Sporting Club de Portugal, and Inter Milan. They've made Inter Milan in recent seasons in the Champions League, and obviously Man City in the quarterfinals of the competition. Atletico Madrid were in the group in 2018-19. Where will Dortmund go? Into Group C. So it's a Dortmund, and Vatsko, who's showing his face on the screen, will be put into Group C of the Champions League this season, along with Sporting Club de Portugal. So that takes out one of the simpler options for some of the bigger sides. That's Group C done. So Dortmund in Group C, as you can see on your screen right there. Real Madrid, CF, they are out next from pot 2. They can go into 5 groups. They can go into groups A and D, and in every single one except for Group F. So a variety of options there too. They drew Inter Milan last season. It looks like they're being They could draw them again.
They can't obviously draw Manchester City as there are red signals.
No, the red signals, the flashing is that they are able to draw them.
No, they have to draw.
They can draw them. So they can draw Manchester City. Michael Essien has the fate of Real Madrid in his hands, a former club of his. Where will Essien put Real Madrid? He is, for the second year in a row, Inter Milan. You have to remember where the paper is. He's drawn Inter Milan and Real Madrid in the same group for the second year in a row. So we had two great ties last season. A 2-0 win for 3-2 and 3-2 wins for Real Madrid, but the 3-2 was a pulsating game. Can we get anything similar to that this season? We hope to wait and see. So into Group D go Real Madrid. Next up is Liverpool. They have been drawn next by Ivanovic, 6-time Champions League winners and Premier League champions in 2020. But more importantly, they are next out. And they can't draw Manchester City or Chelsea. They can only go into 4 different groups. They can play one of either Villarreal, Lille, Atletico Madrid, or Bayern Munich. Michael Essien again picking out the balls that has picked out the balls. Which one is he going to put Liverpool into? It's Group B, Atletico Madrid. So Liverpool have been drawn against Marcos Llorente and Atletico Madrid. And the last time the two sides met at Anfield was when Morata and a double from Llorente knocked the defending champions at the time out of the European Cup. So that's a game which will really be a chance for the fans, especially being there, to exact revenge on their former rivals. Paris Saint-Germain. This is the one a lot of people have been. There, yeah, Khalifi's there. There's been a lot of excitement now. Where will Paris Saint-Germain go? They can go into any other group, but they can't go anywhere else but Manchester City's. That's a massive, massive tie. They have already thrown them into the ringer. Man City and Paris Saint-Germain have been drawn in the same group. So A to D is sorted. United yet to come out yet. But that's already a big tie. PSG Man City, a rematch from last year's semi-final. Next out is Juventus, where Ronaldo may not be after the 31st of August. We'll have to wait and see. But here they come. Juventus can go into any of the groups remaining, which is from E to H. They've already drawn A to D. What a bombshell that is, Mustafa. PSG and Man City.
Well, to me, it isn't too much of a surprise as such, because I think we've been very much spoiled by having what is, on paper, the two biggest clubs that probably contest this year's Champions League in the same group.
Incredible. Juventus will go into Group H, and that's where Chelsea are. So it's another one of those old school ties between Chelsea and Juve. And it's been a while since those two met in the Champions League. I remember a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge in 2012, and Chelsea's defence faltered in Turin as well, losing 2-1.
It up, if I can recall.
Here,
to me, Taylor's job.
Yeah, it did. FC Barcelona. They cannot draw Villarreal. So where will Barcelona go? They can only go into 2 pots. So it's one of either Lille or Bayern Munich. Where will they go? First season without Messi in the Champions League. No money. It's such a faltering club. And it's into Group E for Barcelona. So they go into Bayern Munich's group. We're being spoiled for major ties in this competition already. PSG and Man City, and now Bayern Barcelona. United still have the potential of drawing Lille or Villarreal, which looks good for us. But it depends on where we go. Are we going to be drawn next? No, we're not. Sevilla can only go into one group, and that is Lille's group. And ladies and gentlemen, I got what I wanted. A revenge match against Villarreal. It's what I crave for. It's what I've asked for. And guess what? We're getting it. Have at it. Emery's boys are coming to Old Trafford, and we're heading to Al Madrigal, boys and girls. It's exactly what I wanted. There you go. Manchester United. We are going to Villarreal again, boys. Revenge. Revenge is what we're going out there for. And that's the plan from the outset. Marcos Senna's, the representative for Villarreal, looks very, very, very calm. He does not look like he's in any way perturbed by our appearance in their group. But Manchester United have been drawn in Group F of the UEFA Champions League this season. I did say, I told you I wanted them in our group, and we've got them in our group.
We've been bickering about this, ladies and gentlemen, since the final. He wants Villarreal in his group. And what you ask, you sometimes get. In this case, you got what you wanted.
I did. I'm happy. Just have to find out who we draw against next. But talk to me about the other ones. Inter Milan, Real Madrid in the same group again for the second season in a row.
Juventus also
and Chelsea, Juventus, yes.
Also, there are some mouth-watering ties.
If Ronaldo stays there, Mustafa, if he stays there after Tuesday, him back in the UK for playing a team in blue, but not wearing those colours, a bit of an underlying story, but that's a big deal if he ends up playing against Chelsea.
Well, look, he'll either be in Italian representation of his club, or will be back in England, which was already at Manchester City. But again, we have to wait and see on this one as such. There's a lot of speculation that's gone over this, which we've had so much in this window as such. Quite deserved midfielders for the season awards as such for both representatives of the men's and women's.
Alexia Putellas has won the award for the women's, and N'Golo Kante for the men's. You are welcome, sir. Hello. I did say I would get my family involved in the show, and I've brought in he's a Chelsea fan, everyone. Please be nice to him. Take a seat, sir.
Oh, okay.
You are welcome here. Abi Bakar is his name. He's supported Chelsea now for, I'd say, the best part of a decade now. Yes, the best part of a decade. More or less says that if he makes a prediction, it comes true. And well, sir, you let's just talk about your lot first. You've got Ronaldo Juventus coming to your gaff.
I'm happy that City finally got a tough opponent.
Well, last night they got Aston Villa. Aston Villa Wickham in the Carabao Cup. Now this,
and then look at the draw from
PSG.
last year.
Draw
from last year. Porto, Olympiacos, and Marseille.
Yeah, they're being stiff this year.
Now they've got PSG, and I'm happy about that.
Talk to me about your group. Like, more importantly, Juventus, Ronaldo potentially coming to your ground.
It's not ideal. Right. Of course it's not ideal because of the fact that Juve are still a force to be reckoned with, with Allegri at the helm. They got Locatelli in. They still have Ronaldo in. We don't know if he's going to leave or not. They still got very decent players. It's not ideal, but it would have been more preferred for me rather than PSG. I think that's understandable. But I want to hear about you lot. You were talking about you wanted Villarreal.
I just told Mustafa this. I've said that I wanted with passion and strong interest revenge at Villarreal, and I got what I wanted. So I'm happy. Whoever we draw from pots 3 and 4 now, I'm not fussed. I just want us to go out there and absolutely rollick Emery's style. I just want to feel let's just say I want to feel some relief.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I want relief from disappointment. I want revenge. And I'm out and I'm seeking revenge, especially because our season depends on how we play. And I think, other than the fact we've drawn Villarreal, this is a good start to our group. Yeah. I think this is a good start to our group. We're now getting into pot 3. Mustafa's been replaced. Habib will be with me for the rest of the show, or rest of the draw. Pot 3 is being obviously involved with the sides that are who qualify / haven't got a high enough coefficient. So we're about to find out where each of these sides are going to go. Shakhtar Donetsk, what a performance against Monaco. Last night, they managed to only just squeeze into the Champions League after a late own goal in extra time, put them past Monaco. How lucky they were to be in this draw today. What For a long time last night, I thought Monaco were about to knock them out. But
To be fair, I just want to see City get shagged at this point. I think our group is sort of settled. If we get like a tough third third pot team, I think we still have a more favorable chance of making it through.
Yeah.
But I just want to see City get shagged as much as possible.
Let's see. Well, Michael Essier's about to pick out Shakhtar's group. They can go to any of the groups. Shakhtar Donetsk will go into Group D. And it will be with Inter Milan and Real Madrid. It's
literally the same
it's
thing.
A carbon copy of 3 teams in the same group again for the second year in a row.
Borussia Dortmund back, even though
I am on a live stream. I am on a live stream. You have to run away right now. Yeah, he's live. He's live with me.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Yeah, he's actually with me as a guest. You may want to run away right now.
Yeah, you might want
I need to keep going with the draw. I can't. I have to keep going. I have to keep going. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. As I was saying, Shakhtar in the same group as Inter Milan and Real Madrid for the 3rd year in a row. Incredible. Benfica, former champions, got past Eindhoven to reach this stage.
So they're going to be... Wait, hold on. That doesn't make...
They can't go into Sporting Lisbon's group because they're same country.
Because of television thing.
No, it's... No, they can't clash nations. The nations can't clash with one another. So
how
they can't play
the TV thing.
No, the TV thing applies, but they can still go into Group A and B. So,
okay.
And they can also go into any of the other 4 groups.
Porto's there as well. It's going to get a bit confusing. Okay, sorry, my bad.
So Porto haven't been drawn yet, but here come Benfica, and it is Group E for Benfica. So they will join Barcelona and Bayern Munich. It's the group of B's in Group E. That one. Group of B's in Group
Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Oh,
yeah, that's a big one. It's a tough one as well, but it's not. Benfica have met these 2 previously, so
majority of the time it's a high-scoring game between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. I mean, you got that 7-0, the 8-2. It's gonna be kind of like fireworks, I guess, going on over there.
Zenit St. Petersburg. This is where the final will be held. The home club are in this competition as champions of Russia. And qualified because Russia have actually done well enough in the UEFA coefficient to be able to be in the competition. So we're looking now at Zenit St. Petersburg. You can go into any of the 6 remaining groups. I wouldn't want to rule them out of ours or in Chelsea's group. If they go into City's group,
they can go in our group.
No, they can.
Russian. So,
no, that would be the Abramovich derby for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
He wouldn't mind it. He'd do all things possible to keep them well.
It looks like Essien's got the groove of opening.
Oh, it is!
Oh,
it is!
It's the Roman
derby.
It
is. Zenit St. Petersburg, Chelsea, and Juventus.
Would you look at that?
Can you believe it? So Group H has Abramovich's 2 heavily involved teams in the same group. That's a remarkable thing.
Zdravstvuyte.
Yes. Welcome to Zenit to Chelsea's group. Okay, the next team I don't want to see anywhere near our group.
I want to see them.
RB Leipzig knocked out Manchester United last season in the Champions League. They can still go into our group for this season, but they have also got Lille, Sevilla's. They can go to Lille, Sevilla. They can go into Man City's group. There's a lot of options.
I think they're probably the hardest opposition. Are they?
They're probably the hardest. Yeah, they're probably along with Ajax. They're probably the hardest opposition.
And maybe AC Milan.
Yeah, they're probably not. But I wouldn't want them in my group. But if they are in there, it is what it is. They would not want to. They don't want to remember last season either.
Let's go!
Group A.
Let's go!
It's Group A.
We're gonna shake City.
Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and RB Leipzig.
Oh, let's go!
That is a bananas group.
Listen, let's go. You're not gonna get away with this, you winger merchants, man. You have no striker. Let's go.
I think he's reminding us all about the striker problem City have. But they've been drawn with Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig. PSG and Leipzig were in the same group last season, just a different Manchester team this year.
Oh, yeah, true. And then if they get Besiktas, it's practically the same thing.
It pretty much is, yeah, almost just it's the different team from Istanbul. Coming up next is Atalanta. They upset the apple cart last season, beating Liverpool at Anfield. It was a one-off thing, but they can go into any of the 3 remaining groups. We've never played Atalanta, but I wouldn't mind a trip to Italy. We can't go to Juventus now anyway, so
this is truly a PTSD sort of draw. You got Liverpool and Atleti You've
in the same group. Yeah,
You've got Bayern and Barcelona.
Barcelona,
You've
yeah.
got a lot of people.
They are in our group.
Villarreal.
We are us, Villarreal, and now Atalanta. Well, do you know what? It's a tough team. But I like the idea of playing new opposition. So Atalanta in our group, that's fine by me. Villarreal, Manchester United, and
It's still a decent
Atalanta.
challenge for you guys.
I like the challenge. I like the prospects of it. It is exciting. I would like us to give them a game. FC Salzburg. I think they can go into any of the 3 remaining groups. If I'm not wrong, no, 1. They can only go into 1 group. They're going into Sporting de Portugal and Borussia Dortmund's group. So that's them in Group C. And there are 2 teams left.
I think it's probably going to be Group C.
No, actually, they can go into 2 pots. They can go into 2. My bad.
Group C.
So is it Group C? No, Group C, B, and E. They can go into any of them, I think. Let's see where they'll go. Salzburg will go into Group G.
Oh, Group G, come on.
Lille, Sevilla, and Salzburg.
My prediction skills aren't on par right now.
Is that what you were saying? This was the possibility of the groups going well.
My brain's a bit scrambled right now.
Mm-mm. Anyway, 2 left, and so tough. I think there's a tough team in there still remaining. That team is FC Porto. They can only go into 1 group, and it's Liverpool's group with Atletico Madrid.
I don't know. What do Liverpool fans think right now? They've been drawn against Atleti, the team that knocked them out in the round of 16.
I mean, we are a Man United channel, we don't have Liverpool fans here.
But then, they've been drawn against Porto, and they always win against Porto. They must be very confused right now.
It must be confused.
They must be very confused. Right
Anyway, Ajax are the last team out, and there's nowhere else for them to go. But Group C, they will play with Sporting Club de Portugal and Borussia Dortmund. So we only have 1 spot left in each of the pots.
I'm loving Group C. I'm loving it.
It is actually how we wanted it to be.
I'm loving it.
The toughest task for Man City is possible. That's what we wanted.
It.
Me and the as a collective have a despair Manchester City. We don't like them. Anyway.
I mean, we gave them our own in the Champions League final, but
True, but
that's the boy we should have signed.
Stuff, you're in the background here, mate. The microphone can pick you up. But how do you feel? It's gone quite crazy now, this group phase.
Well, very crazy indeed. As such, obviously, before I make my comments, obviously the UEFA segment of the draw will now be showing its pictures of both UEFA men's and women's forwards players of the year, both for the men's and women's games as such. You have to get another Barcelona women.
Barcelona's entire
They've cleaned up.
Not only did they dominate in the Champions League final against Arsenal, but
they've cleaned up the awards.
Well, we must not
did very
forget
well.
it was a demolition in the women's final.
Yeah.
Under Emma Hayes, who's done a terrific job as such. So obviously, congrats to Barca women, still reigning in the trophies as the best European team. Anyway, to the groups.
Just first of all, Manchester. It's a different Manchester club this year, but City, PSG, and Leipzig. This is already boiling up to be the group of death. Like, for your instant reaction, how do you feel about it?
Let's look at it like this. Both Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, with the massive influx of money they've obviously put in during the Qatari and UAE ownership of both clubs, I've got massive squads. Even though there is a lot of debate in the forward areas, especially with Gabriel Jesus and all sorts, they're still that flexible to probably play a false 9 with inverted wingers as they have done. So Manchester City will always find a way of adapting to that. Same for Paris Saint-Germain in that aspect. But them having as tough a group as they have, it's obviously going to be a challenge, and it will have its sticking points. Obviously, was it Ajax obviously in their group?
No, not yet. We're about to find out the pot 4 right now, but yeah, that's a tough group for them. Elsewhere, we have a carbon copy from last season with Inter, Real, and Shakhtar in the same group again. And
you can't get a full carbon copy.
We can't get a full carbon copy because
Gladbach isn't there.
I'm trying to remember. Gladbach were eliminated, but there is still Wolfsburg, so it can follow the trend as such as
You
to
just get B-Tech groups, isn't it?
yeah, you could
A
get
and,
something similar.
is it
AC
D?
Milan are the side of fear. Obviously, this is the first time since 2013 that they
AC
are.
Milan was in pot 4. Okay, that's my
They haven't been in Europe for a long time. They are 7 times winners, of course, but it's a long time since they've been in the competition, hence why they're so low. Wolfsburg haven't been in the Champions League since 2015, and we were in the same group as them when that happened. I mentioned
FC Sheriff.
this is the new team, Moldova's first ever Champions League side. 0-0 last night against Zenit after winning 3-0.
3-0 in aggregate.
Yep, a tremendous performance. So I think a lot of the groups will want them in their group just to, let's say, rest their numbers. But I wouldn't, rule out any of these sides. We have history with Club Brugge being Man United.
And an Istanbul team.
And there's another Turkish team in this group as well. But we are in Istanbul, so it would be strange again if we were put in a position of going back there this season, especially with a different side like Besiktas, who are quite good at home, especially in Europe. So pot 4, the final pot of the Champions League competition is about to be drawn. Every team is eligible except for AC Milan because they can't go into the Italian groups. And straight away, BSC Young Boys of Switzerland are being drawn. Now from Bern. Yes, it's a strange name. A lot of people don't like it. But they can go into any of the groups. We've played them before. Came close to a point against them. But I remember being there when Marouane Fellaini punted home in the 90th minute.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble about
That-
the name.
That's true. But yeah, they've played us before. They've played Chelsea before, many, many years ago. But their pedigree in Europe is a good one. They're back in the Champions League for the first time in 2 years. Who will they be drawn into? I wouldn't mind our draw, but let's see where they go. BSC Young Boys of Switzerland will go into group. Yes, they're in our group. Well, we now know who Manchester United are going to be drawn with in the UEFA Champions League this season. BSC Young Boys, Atalanta, and Villarreal is Manchester United's group in this season's UEFA Champions League. So our fate is secured. Now we are finding out where everyone else will go. I'm happy. I'm content. That is a good draw, and it helps give Solskjaer some ideas. Besiktas of Turkey is the next team out, and the host city for this draw, where the final should have been held. Sadly, not the case. I wish it was, but we are here today. Nevertheless, it's a brilliant occasion again for Besiktas.
That is a very cool camera.
Yeah, he's doing very well. Sorry, he's doing a very good job of
phone case.
Yeah, it is a big deal with Besiktas because they've not been in this competition, if I'm not wrong, for 4 years. They've been in the Europa League a lot, but never gotten out of the group stage in the last 2 attempts. So them being Turkish champions benefited them into being automatic qualifiers. Where will Besiktas go? It will be Group C for them.
So that's with Sporting, Dortmund and
Ajax. Yep, those are the sides that Besiktas will be drawn against. And I think that's a very good draw for those sides. I think a very competitive draw is how I would put it. Very competitive draw. So Besiktas in Group C. Sporting Lisbon, Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas. Next up from pot number 4. It's taken us an hour and 20 minutes, but we were really getting to the gritty bit.
Okay, please.
The biggest team in pot 4 have been drawn.
Please,
AC Milan, 7 times champions of Europe, and obviously back in the Champions League for the first time in 7 years. It looks like they've been allowed to only draw 2 pots.
They can go in Group A.
I think they can go in Group A. You're right. Let's see where they'll go, though.
Please.
Is he going to send them? No, it's Group B. It's a tough group, but it brings back the memories of Istanbul 05 again. AC Milan, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, and Porto. That's a challenge for Milan. But you know what? It is the rematch of the 2005 and 2007 Champions League finals.
It's pretty competitive in that group. It's not like everyone's levels above each other.
Yes, and Milan are the toughest team in that pot, so that will not be an easy game for Liverpool.
Wolfsburg, okay.
Still
one of a decent size.
Thank God they're not in our group this year. 6 years ago, I learned the hard way. They can only go into 2 pots. They can go into Chelsea's group, or they can go into the group with Lille in there, Sevilla as well. So Wolfsburg have pedigree in Europe. They can be a threat if, given an opportunity to show themselves. Great Mark Van Bommel, the manager there this season. They have the likes of Riedler Baku, Wout Weghorst in their side, Josip Brekalo to keep an eye out for, young stars in their side. that really have potential
G.
is Group G. So it's Lille, Sevilla, Salzburg, and well, I'd say it's a good group for Wolfsburg. There, they could actually compete in that competition.
There are some decent little groups over there.
This is why I love this Champions League draw, man. It's so good, and we've only got 3 weeks or so to wait till the group stage begins.
Some solid competition here so far.
Really strong. Right, next is Belgian champions Club Bruges. For United fans out there, Tae Chong went out on loan there, won the league with them. It's why they're in this competition this season. A really good achievement for Club Bruges this year. Back in the Champions League after a difficult season last season, being eliminated in the group stage. See if they can match up to the task this time around. Some really good talent in that side. And obviously a lot of the cream of Belgian football have come from Bruges. They've upset the Anderlecht dominance, the dynasty that they had for a long time. They can go to any of the groups. So where will they go? It's a Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and RB Leipzig's group. It's quite the baptism of fire for
Small fish in a big pond. Definitely.
Very big, expensive pond.
With a lot of oil in it.
Yes, indeed.
And a lot of red bull.
Taurine must be the choice of additive in that group. Next out of the pot is Malmö FF of Sweden. They got through to this competition, beating Ludogorets over 2 legs to get into this Champions League. A great performance, especially away from home, despite losing 2-1. They can only go to 2 places. They can't be drawn with Milan, where Zlatan used to play. Is playing right now. They can go into one of the groups of challenge of Inter Milan, Donetsk, and Real Madrid, but they can also go to Chelsea's group. So Malmo and Chelsea have met before in the Europa League. I actually went to that game. It was a very good match. They bring quite an atmosphere, the Swedes. And it is in Chelsea's group that they go to. So Malmo, FF, Chelsea, at Juventus with Zenit St. Petersburg in the group. So you get to go to where the final's being held. You play a team you've played previously and then Juventus. To be honest, that's not a bad group for Chelsea.
I don't even remember the last time that we played Juventus.
It was 8 years ago when you were defending the title. We'll talk about that more in a minute. There are 2 teams left in the Champions League draw. Dynamo Kiev on the longest trips of the season. Thank God we don't have to go there. They can't draw Shakhtar Donetsk. So they can only go into one other group. And that group is Group E, which is Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Benfica. So they've upset the B flow. But that's where they'll go. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I only know Dynamo Kiev.
As Sheriff Tiraspol's first Champions League season as Moldova's representative will put them in a really, really good group. For them, it's a competitive one. They'll have Inter, Real, and Shakhtar in their group. What a draw that was. Holy moly, I am already excited for the Champions League.
I'm just excited for Group A.
What a evening of a draw that was. It took an age to get going, but bloody hell, we finally done
Michael
it.
Essien didn't know how to open them.
and Ivanovic is a robot. But ladies and gentlemen, we've finally done it. The draw for the UEFA Champions League is now finally complete. Let's go one by one. We start as always with the group of death. My God, it is literally the group of death. Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, RB Leipzig, and champions of Belgium, Club Bruges. In Group B, we have a rematch of mad proportions. Atletico Madrid and Liverpool meet together for the first time in a year, and it's a shot of revenge for Liverpool. Porto and AC Milan. Milan and Liverpool met many times in the noughties, particularly in 2 Champions League finals. Mm-hmm. So that will really, boil some steam with the
flash in the past.
Yeah, flashback into the past we go. Group C is more the meh group, sadly, which we don't want to disrespect any of the teams in the competition, but it is the meh group, which has Sporting Club de Portugal.
It's got a decent competition.
It has good. It's a potential group. I like to think of it as the group with the sides that have that youth potential in it. There's a lot of young stars in this group. So Salzburg, Ajax, Dortmund, and Sporting Club de Portugal.
Oh no, that was Besiktas, not
Besiktas. Sorry, my apologies. Besiktas in Group C, Ajax, Sporting Club de Portugal, and Dortmund. Group D has it's practically a repeat of last year's group from the Champions League. Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff Tiraspol for the first time in the competition as a Moldovan side.
Ooh,
then
men's coach.
Men's coach, it should be Tuchel. We know this already, Habib. And I think it should be the Barcelona coach for the Women's Award. We've found out this already.
My God, Barcelona walked through this.
Yeah, they walked all the
We went to the
awards.
finals. At least give us a little bit of appreciation.
They did, but they cleaned up in domestic football as well. A treble for them. Group F, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. We were just talking about the men's team, of course, will have a very tough task. Minus Messi against Bayern Munich, along with Benfica and Dinamo Kiev. Barca fans will remember the last time they met Dinamo Kiev in the Champions League was a long time ago, and that was Shevchenko ripped through Barcelona. Manchester United's group is the one I sort of wanted this group. The most important thing is that Villarreal are in it. A shot at revenge for the Europa League final. That's the one thing I asked for, and I've got it. So that's all I can thank UEFA for. Give us what I want, and I'm happy we got Villarreal. So Emery, we're coming for you, bitch. Atalanta and BSC Young Boys are also in our group. So we're meeting Young Boys in the Champions League again. And it's a first timer in our group as well with Atalanta. So the last time we met a side that were first timers in the Champions League, Istanbul, well, let's not remember. I don't remember it too much, but it happened. And we just gloss over that one very quickly. Then we have Group G, Lille, Sevilla. I have to go across the page because there's font so small. Salzburg and Wolfsburg. And then Group H, the champions Chelsea, Juventus, Zenit St. Petersburg, and Malmo.
And speaking of Chelsea,
They're
Tuchel,
the manager.
men's coach of the year.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Despite, I think it would be a fair competitiveness would have been Roberto Mancini going to be considered for the award, but he did so well with Chelsea at the end of the day.
Half a season.
In
no
6 months, he
transfers.
turned them around from potentially not making the Champions League at all to winning the competition and finishing in the top 4. So at the end of the day,
FA Cup final.
and an FA Cup. Well, yeah, it's a great season for Chelsea. But let's quickly gloss over your draw again. Juventus, Malmo, and Zenit. A trip to where the final's being held.
Mm-hmm.
You go and play Juventus, and you have a game against Malmo, which you've got some remembrance of. Who I remember you played very well against Malmo. Actually, it was a very good performance, and they bring quite an atmosphere to the Swedes to London. They'll probably do it again. But how happy are you with that group? Because I think that's a good group for Chelsea.
I think it is a good group. When it comes to sort of like competitiveness, of course, you have to look at the Italian giants being Juventus. I wouldn't want to gloss over Zenit St. Petersburg and Malmo. You never want to look down at the people, like the teams who came up from like a smaller area or something like that. You never want to look down on them because they could just bite you on the ass. But Juventus seem like the tough opponents. That's the team that we're looking at. And we're like, okay, these are the ones that are going to challenge us for the throne. These ones are going to challenge us for first place in the group.
Yeah.
So we gotta just do what we were doing last season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what we were doing last season, we were unstoppable. Like Porto could have beat us, Atleti, Real City. I don't think it's any different when it comes to Juventus. They have Allegri, they still have Ronaldo there, they have Locatelli. But when it comes to Tuchel's like man management of like players and his tactics, I don't think anyone's figured it out yet. And I think he's made it clear when it comes to like performances against big like teams and very experienced coaches like your Klopps, your Peps, all these sort of like big managers, Ancelotti, like Simeone, like all these big managers, like he's seemed to get the better of them. So I think if we just keep on sticking to our game plan and with our chances created, we've got a good striker in there. So that means we could actually be we could be having like a good chance of maybe going back to back. But I want to talk about maybes. I want to talk about like definitely's. And what's definite is that I'm happy with the group. And definitely Juventus is going to be a challenge. And it's definite that even these two might even put up a bit of a fight. It's going to be definite because like all the teams that have been in the Champions League, they've proven their worth. They've proven how tough they are as opponents. And in general, I don't want to look down at any side. But when it comes to this, it's not the most ideal one. But it is still a tough draw. And also it is at least not Man City's draw. So the only thing I can say is that the draw happened. This has been a decent draw for us, but, there's not much I have to say about it.
Indeed. And I think content is probably the best way you'd want to put it.
Yeah, if you just sum it up in a little short way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. That's a great contribution from Habib. I told you I'd have guests involved, and while I couldn't get our regulars on, I always have smart football brains around me. So they're reliable fallback options when things do go wrong. But they're very, very dependable. Thank you, Abib. Mustafa will get his thoughts in very quickly as well. Hopefully when he's finished fiddling with his whatever he's doing. But quickly, my thoughts. Manchester United have been blessed, I think. This is a very good group for United. They've earned their stripes this season as last season after finishing second. We needed a group that would sort of give us a challenge, but also make it so that we're not, overwhelming favourites. So we still have to treat everyone we play against with respect and with the, with the, let's say, I want to say we want to treat every game as it's supposed to be treated. If we win it with control, with passion, with the absolute attacking prowess it deserves. And sure enough, we'll get through it. Obviously, the Emery games against Villarreal will be the hard ones because we've seen how we've played against them in the Europa League final. We already know what we did wrong in that game. This time around, different kettle of fish. We're dealing with a group game where points are crucial. We've got to have the results sorted. In fact, let me just zoom in on this one quickly for you all, just so that you get a better view of who we've drawn against. There we go. So, just looking at it, like Villarreal, we know enough about. Atalanta are one of the most attacking sides in Europe, and I feel we could be stretched in that competition. They'll give us a hard game. Man City obviously knew about it. They played Liverpool last season, but they ran over Liverpool, but beat them at Anfield. And young boys, we've spoken enough about BSC young boys. They've Swiss team, Old Trafford. I have a friend of mine who's a Swiss football fan and a very big fanatic. We'll try and get him on the show at some point to give his thoughts about the draw and what he thinks may happen here between the two sides. I'm very excited to be playing against Swiss opposition again because there is it's not so much the fact that it is a big game. We've played against them before, but there's potential there as well. Thies van der Glind has added this, and I think he's got a fair point here. Group C is the group of talent and youngsters. He's right, because we just touched on this. Sporting Club de Portugal, Besiktas, Ajax, and Dortmund is a group which I think shows what, if you trust your youth enough, they may shine. And they're going to get an opportunity with the caliber of the sides in the group to do that. So who knows? We have a lot of talent there. There's Reina, there's Haaland, Gonçalves, the Nuno, I think it's Nuno Fernandes, I think is how you pronounce it. Nuno from left back from Sporting Lisbon. There's a variety of talent in those two sides. Besiktas will bring in new youth talent as well as experience into their group. Ajax, we know enough about them and their youth production. So they will be that game between them and Dortmund will be an excellent watch. Thoroughly excited. But thank you, Thies, for your contribution. Stuff.
Yes,
we're done. But my goodness, what a draw.
Very, very good draw. It's such good point made by the person that just made the comment. There being the Group C has obviously got a lot of youth talent and pedigree, obviously, in there as such in European competitions. As of such, it's a very open group. I think any one of those who do qualify out of it, I think have got a good chance of going far in the competition. How far, we will not know. I have to say, though, that obviously Manchester City have obviously got a very, very tough group. I think Manchester United, look at the group with the likes of Villarreal. I think Atalanta will be a problem. More so, I think, than Villarreal, because the glow-up they've had the last couple of years will be of a good challenge. Young boys, obviously, it's a trip to Switzerland there and back, with obviously the hectic schedule that United have got coming up through September and October, which will test the squad massively. But this is where you need your big squads. You need your squad players to step up to the plate and get the job done as soon as possible by getting 9 points on the board and looking ahead further on into the festive period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think I said this already, but stress it again. Last season was just poor in the nature of how we finished the group stage. We started it like a house on fire and looked so like we looked favourites to get out of what was one of the toughest groups in the Champions League. Group of death, I dare say. this didn't look good on us at the end, losing our last 2 games. This year, a different group, us against sides, a couple of teams we're familiar with Young Boys and Villarreal. Atalanta's a new team for us, but it's Italian opposition. You mentioned them. We watch a lot of Serie A in this house. We pay attention to the caliber these sides have. We can tell you for sure Atalanta are a side that love scoring goals.
They will always create chances.
Yes, they will.
The minimum that they will do, that's for sure.
They will create chances. They will cause trouble for sides. They will be a problem. And I hope that is the case for United this season. If we are to be able to get out of the group comfortably, we've got to treat every game with respect and make sure we deal with each opponent as they come and go. So let's hope that is the case. Any final thoughts from you?
Liverpool, tough group as such. Obviously, nice to have Atletico Madrid and Ajax. That's going to be tough for Jurgen Klopp's side, especially with the squad that they've obviously got at the moment. Chelsea's, other than Juventus, those 2 should contest top of the group as such. Obviously, the remaining 2 will obviously play second fiddle in this. Obviously, there's no third place now with whoever goes at the Champions League down because of the new UEFA Conference League and such. There's extra pressure on the likes of Chelsea and Juventus and the other main teams in the 7 other groups to get 9 points on the board as soon as possible to all but seal their place into what is now the last. I think it's the last 16 stage this year.
There is a last 16 in the Champions League, but in the Conference League, Europa League,
it'll be last 16.
It'll be a last 16, but it's a knockout game.
Right.
So
anyway, it again still has to stress the point that you have to get your points on the board as soon as possible to get the necessary games out of the way as such. So Chelsea will probably fancy themselves, though the Juventus will be a tough task. But for British contingency, if you're of a Manchester City or a Liverpool disposition, I wouldn't be the most pleased, shall I say. You'll be relishing the big games, but you wouldn't be relishing the fact that you'll be having 2 of the main league champions out of 2 respective countries of both Spain and France in your respective groups as such. But overall, for Manchester United, it should be a group you should qualify from, but Villarreal, as you know already, and Atalanta will not prove easy task. And obviously with Young Boys under former Huddersfield manager David Wagner,
we have history.
There's history behind this, obviously them beating you in the Premier League. So there is going to be some backdrop into this group as such. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
And we should leave on a good note to end the show, obviously.
Yes, absolutely. As I said, I couldn't get our regulars on today because they're all busy. But I'm going to rope them into something so I can get their reactions at some point in the near future. But thank you all of you who have stuck with me for the last 1 hour, 40 minutes. That was a long, long time. I knew it would take this long because obviously this is what they do every single year. But now we know who is in the UEFA Champions League group stage draws. And most importantly, we now know who Manchester United will play. It's a very good draw, an exciting draw. But the most important thing is it's a draw that we can sort of give respect to, but should, and I mean we should, get out of it with relative ease. So fingers crossed when we get to September the 14th, which is not long from now, just a couple of weeks away, when the action gets underway, we will see some top quality football from all the sides in Europe. But obviously here on Trafford Talk, we focus on United. We're going to give you a good old preview and a lot of backdrop as to what we expect from each of these sides in the season's European competition, the Premier competition. The hope is obviously get out of the group, but we saw last year, we expect the unexpected. So we look forward to it. But more importantly, we all have to go out and laugh at City, everyone, okay? Let's make sure of that, everyone. Please laugh at City. That's all I ask for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me tonight. I've enjoyed bringing my family, my brothers in who are very keen football fans. They love to get their opinions in, and they made it all the more exciting. I guarantee a waffle. If Alexi's watching this right now, or whoever, I guarantee a waffle. Alexi, get your butt sorted and get in here at some point this week. Please, I need to waffle because we've got a lot to talk about. But If we do, we're going to have a waffle at least by the end of this weekend. And there'll be a review of the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers on Sunday as well on this channel. So that'll be our first match review of the season. Fans are allowed to get involved in that of anywhere in the world. If you want to get your thoughts in, I will drop a StreamYard link on Sunday afternoon for you to come and involve yourselves in with the debate after the game. I'm really excited. Champions League draw done and dusted. United have been given a good draw. City have been shagged at last. It's what we've wanted. Now we have to see everything take its course. This is gonna be one hell of a winter. Thank you, everyone. Please take care of one another. We hope to see you again very, very soon. Until Sunday, or hopefully until Sunday. I hope it's not Sunday because I need that waffle. Not blue waffle. Please don't look that up on Google. We'll see you very soon. Take care, everyone.